Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Pinetop-Lakeside Council to order and welcome you all here. We do have a quorum. I would just like to make the announcement that Councilmember Harry Turner has resigned his seat on the council. He has filed paperwork to run for mayor, so he is not here. I would ask that everybody make sure your cell phone is on silent, and please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Malena.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you today asking for your wisdom and guidance. Bless this council meeting and every person gathered here today. Help us to listen with respect, speak with honesty, and work together with unity. Grant us clear minds to make decisions that are fair, wise, and beneficial for the people of Pinetop-Lakeside. Guide our thoughts so that our actions reflect integrity, compassion, and responsibility. We ask you, Lord, to guide and direct our discussions to be productive, our choices thoughtful, and our purpose focused on the good and the whole, good for the whole of the community. Lord, we ask you in your mighty, precious name to watch over our country, to bless our country, to bless our first responders, our servicemen and women and their families. And Lord, we just praise you and thank you for the moisture that we've received and pray that you would bring more moisture to our community and protect us against wildfires. All these things we ask in your mighty, precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Malena. Item B on the agenda tonight is call to the public. This is a business meeting of the town council. The town values and welcomes public input. Please address the council as a whole and not individual council members. Do not address staff or members of the audience. Council action on items brought up during call to the public is limited by the open meeting law. Council may direct staff to study the matter and reschedule for further consideration at a later date. Items on the agenda are not heard during call to the public and individuals are limited to 3 minutes. So I do have a couple requests for call to the public. The first one is Mark Grego.
Hello. I'm not an experienced public speaker, so I'll be reading. Thank you, Mayor Irwin and council members, for the opportunity to speak with you. What I have to say concerns the town marijuana dispensary codes, but is not specific to the agenda item D4 Ordinance 26.490. As you know, there's been a lot of discussion concerning the possible placement of a dispensary near the Family Fun Park, a longtime community partner. This brought to light what many consider a weakness in the town codes in the distancing requirements. The codes specify distancing for such family-oriented locales such as schools, public parks, libraries, community centers, partly because proximity to marijuana retailers can reduce the perception of risk and signify general acceptance among younger students. Why do we not have the same apprehension when we're talking about a privately owned park where families with children gather? Other towns, have recognized this issue, such as Taylor and Payson, and have language in their code protecting family entertainment areas. Due to the requirements of HB 2447, the Planning and Zoning Commission is reviewing Titles 16 and 17 to see where the language may need to be strengthened. This could be the ideal time to look at these distancing codes contained in 17.102 and 17.114 recreational and medical marijuana distancing requirements. Perhaps the council could encourage the commission to prioritize alteration of those codes for the following. Add a definition that reads, a facility devoted to family recreation and entertainment means movie theaters, bowling, mini golf, batting cages, arcades, and other amusements available to all age groups. And add to each of the several places where distancing is mentioned shall not be located within X amount of feet of a place of worship, public park, community center, or facility devoted to family recreation or entertainment. I think it's the right thing to do for the families with children, for the fun park itself, and the community at large. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Mark. We appreciate that. That's the only request I have to speak during call to the public. So we'll move on then to item C, which is our consent agenda. All items listed are considered routine matters and will be enacted by one motion of the council. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a member of the town council requests that an item or items be removed for discussion. Council members may ask questions without removal, and items removed are considered in the normal sequence. As you can see, we have 4 items on our agenda tonight. Are there any questions or comments on the consent agenda? Okay, Vice Mayor?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you for all your work on those, Mackenzie. Item D is business before the council. Public comment will be taken at the beginning of each agenda item after the subject has been announced by the mayor and explained by staff. Any citizen who wishes may speak one time for 5 minutes on each agenda item, either before or after a council discussion. Questions from council members, however, may be directed to staff or of a member of the public through the mayor at any time. Item D1 on our agenda tonight is the presentation of the annual White Mountain Water Festival event. Sada Chadnoff.
Good evening, Council. I have Ethan Layton with me, who is my co-presenter this evening. Really my secret tool. Is there a clicker? Organized. Let's see. So before I get started, for those of you who do not know me, I'm Sada Chudnoff. I'm the Executive Director with the American Groundwater Trust. I moved up here in 2021 with my family, so almost 5 years. Since I moved up here in 2021, I've been doing a lot of outreach with Blue Ridge Unified School District. I now have a classroom over at the Fab Lab. We call that our Groundwater Outreach and Education Center. And I go into the classroom on a monthly basis to do outreach, mostly because the heating does not work in that side of the building anymore. This last year in October, we got a grant from University of Arizona Project WET. It was called The Nature of Groundwater. With this exhibit, we had a Natural Resources Festival at the Nature Center. We hosted the Apache Navajo County groundwater seminar. We had an open house day at the Pinetop-Lakeside Library. We followed that with teacher outreach where they can get CEUs. Then we had one day of 7th and 8th grade outreach, and then I don't know what came upon me, but I did an entire week of K through 6 outreach at Blue Ridge, teaching students about watersheds. And this all rolls into what we're doing now on an annual basis, which is the Water Festival. This is a very long mission statement. I'm sure you guys can read that. But this essentially is for 4th grade students throughout the state. And what's really nice is the curriculum that is taught is co-taught at the school at the same time, and then they can go to the Water Festival and they can reinforce what they've learned in the classroom, have a field day going over it again, and then they do testing at the end of the school year so it's fresh on their mind. But hands-on is always very helpful when learning that material. The location right now is to be determined, but we have 2 great leads and we should have something secured for next week for this year. Last year was our first annual water festival. We had over 288 students from Heber, Overgard, Sholo, And Blue Ridge, we had 12 teachers and 61 volunteers. 24 of those were 8th grade students that learned the curriculum through a program we call Science and a Slice that we rolled out with Mr. Van Atten. And of course, our sponsors that made that possible, Pinetop-Lakeside being one of those sponsors. So greatly appreciate it. Because of the nature of this program, we do have to raise the funds to pay the University of Arizona Project Wet Water Festival staff to come up here. They end up staying a couple of nights, doing all of the training. So there is that, as well as feeding all of the volunteers. We're getting ready to hold our second annual water festival. That will be on April 30th. I got ahead of myself, so that location, we're either going to hold it at Blue Ridge Unified School District or at NPC. It'll be an all-day event. This year, we're rolling it out to the Sholo, Hebrew Overguard, and the Blue Ridge schools, as well as the White Mountain Apache schools. As of today, we have over 500 students enrolled for two sessions, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. So I just got that number, wasn't able to update that, which of course means our costs have gone up to bring them up. But the good news is, as of now, with all of our sponsors, we have raised the funds to pay for the direct costs, and we're still raising funds to pay for our volunteer meals. And maybe this is the right time to say, I hope when you guys go through budget processing for 2027, you will consider a $1,500 donation for next year's water festival. Hopefully everyone's taking note. But great turnout with our community. You know, after Chamber on Tuesday, quite a few people came up to say, how can I help? And some of it's in kind, some of it's financial. So love to see that our community just turns out whenever you ask them for help. Some of the perks of being a sponsor one is you get to help all 4th grade students throughout the region learn about groundwater, watersheds, sustainability, and the water cycle. Many adults come to these and have no idea where their water comes from, and those adults that are volunteering, chaperoning, also get to learn the material, which I think is a very fun way to keep understand what is going on. So all of our sponsors at the 250 level will have a big sponsor banner that will go on there. And then, of course, we have marketing material, website, social media that will have the logos on as well. I have a QR code on the last slide if anybody wants to snap a quick shot and make donations. This year, American Groundwater Trust, the nonprofit I work for, is collecting the donations for the meals, and the reason being is we're not going to take any of that for overhead. 100% of it's going to go right back into the water festival. If there's anything left over, that's already earmarked for next year's water festival. So just save wherever we can. This project is also more than just the 4th graders, though. As I mentioned, we're doing Science and a Slice, and we're working with the 8th grade students at Blue Ridge. And Ethan is going to talk about what they're doing to get ready for the festival and their 8th grade community service project. Let's see. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Ethan Layton, and I'm an 8th grader at Blue Ridge Junior High, and I'm here to talk about what we do with Science and a Slice. The purpose of Science and a Slice is to familiar ourselves with our community through community service projects like the festival, and 8th graders have to make a end of the year presentation on this, which requires to find a community service project to complete, do it, and then make a display board and present the project work to my peers at Blue Ridge Junior High. After a little bit, it will be showcased at the end of the year at Blue Ridge Junior High. During the water festival, we will be in charge of running the water cycle and water sustainability activities. To prepare, we will meet one time a month during lunchtime to prepare and learn the material. Once the water festival is over, we will break up into different groups and put together a poster board presentation to give an oral presentation to our classmates. The poster board will then be available for the public to check out at the end of the school year. Thank you for your time this evening.
So I want to just mention something about Ethan. When I went in for the first week and talked about the water festival, all the kids, are excited, like, yeah, we get a whole day, we get to play with fourth graders, we get to play with water, we don't know what else we're doing. And I said, well, holding a water festival is more than just going out on April 30th. It's learning the material, it's fundraising, it's getting back with the community. And I started talking about a lot of other things, and I said, is anybody interested in coming out and speaking to the community? And Ethan volunteered. He had his dad call me up weeks ago. He came out and took time to prepare during lunch. So I think it's great that we're getting 8th grade students engaged and interested. And I told Ethan, there are a lot of adults I see that can't get up in front of adults to speak. So I'm really proud of the work he's done. And this is his second public presentation this week. So great job, Ethan. All right. So that wraps up everything for the upcoming Water Festival. As promised, are those QR codes. I totally glazed over the fact that we will be looking for volunteers. So we do have 20 kids coming for Mr. Van Anten's class. But if anybody else is interested in volunteering for the day, it's a lot of fun. And I think it's fulfilling and a little bit of draining, but worth it. So thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you
Questions?
very much, Sada. Thank you for coming, Ethan. You did a fabulous job. I think your second time was even better than the first.
Yes.
Are there any questions for either of them? Okay. Well, we appreciate it. Good luck. We look forward to hearing all about it. Okay, we'll move on to item D2 then, which is a presentation from the Navajo County Community Needs Assessment Survey. Sierra Hensley.
Okay. We'll move you forward. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the council. My name is Sierra Hensley. I'm the Deputy Health Director for Navajo County Public Health Services District. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. So I'm here briefly to share information about our Navajo County Community Health Needs Assessment Survey that's going on right now. This survey gives our residents in Navajo County a direct voice in identifying health needs, barriers, priorities in our communities. And it ensures our planning is grounded in lived experience and not just in assumptions of what the community needs. So to kind of explain what the survey is a little bit, the Community Health Needs Assessment Survey is a countywide survey that we do every 3 years. Like I said, to gather data on health needs, barriers, and priorities. It's available online and on paper and takes about 10 to 15 minutes to complete. Navajo County residents 18 years or older are welcome to participate in the survey. And it started February 2nd and is open through April 30th. It covers a wide variety of topics, including things like physical, mental, social health, access to health care, substance use, mental health, and different social determinants of health. So to give you a little background on this survey, the last one we did was in 2023. So what that looked like, in February of 2023, we launched our survey, and then in June, we identified health priorities with our community partners. Those were identified as STIs, social determinants of health, chronic diseases, mental health, and substance use. Then in September of 2023, we were able to launch our Community Health Assessment Report and Community Health Improvement Plan to the public. And then the following year, we were able to start different work groups to identify those priorities. So why is this survey important to our communities? It helps us set priorities, so the survey results inform our community health improvement plan, guides where resources should be focused. It helps us strengthen funding and partnerships, so strong community input improves our program outcomes, funding applications, and alignment with our partners. And it, like I said, helping us set the priorities, the survey helps translate community voices into actionable data. It allows towns to understand not just what issues exist, but where they exist and who is impacted by them. So we understand things like access to providers, transportation barriers, housing stability, mental health and substance use concerns, food access, and different chronic disease trends. It also is important to note that communities with a strong health infrastructure tend to see higher quality of life, stronger economies, and residents are able to work, support businesses, and contribute to economic vitality. I'd also like to mention our partners in this process. We could not do this without the help of our partners, and I'd like to highlight Summit Healthcare, Little Colorado Medical Center, and ChangePoint. We are grateful for their involvement and their dedication to the community health improvement process. I'd also like to mention a new project that we're doing this year. We haven't done this before, so we're really excited about it. It's a photo contest, so anyone in Navajo County can enter for a chance to be featured in our 2026 Navajo County Community Health Needs Assessment Report. So we like to put beautiful photos of our communities in these reports. So we encourage submissions of scenery, neighborhoods, landmarks, and community spaces. We're also encouraging the schools to participate, so photography classes, students can submit photos as well. All those submissions go to Sherry Fish, our Health Project Services Manager, who's here with me today. She does a lot of great work for this project, so we really appreciate her. So I just wanted to highlight that because it's a new exciting part of what we're doing here. And then just looking at support throughout this whole process and how you can be a community health improvement champion. Some of the ways the council can support this effort include things like taking the survey yourselves, helping spread the word through your different networks, encouraging our communities to participate because your voices help build trust in our communities, and then getting involved with the community health improvement planning process. So the survey, like I said, identifies priorities, but the plan that we do following the survey and the report is where we work together to build strong solutions. Local governments play a key role in implementing many of the strategies that improve community health. So we just encourage you all to take the survey, participate, and contact us if you'd like to be a part of that planning process. As you know, when we receive the report, and we look at all the data that we compiled, which includes, our survey data, secondary data, and qualitative data, comments from the community members. We take all that information, we meet with our partners, and we help see what we need to focus on for the next few years. So we'd love for you all to participate in that. And then just a final note is that you can find our survey on our Navajo County website. It's also posted on our social media. A fun thing that we're doing is a race between the cities, and that's featured on our Navajo County Facebook page. Pinetop-Lakeside is currently 4th place, so that's awesome. We love to see participation in the comments from our community members, and it helps people kind of feel like they're involved in the process. So we also brought flyers and different materials with us that we can leave here if you're interested. But all in all, this survey is about listening first so that we can act smarter and more effectively. We serve better when we know better. So thank you for your time. We appreciate any partnership you can offer in helping us improve the health of Navajo County.
Thank you for being here tonight, Sierra. Are there any questions for Sierra tonight? We'll challenge our citizens to get more results to you, right? Okay. Take the survey. Yeah.
Thank you so much for letting me be.
Okay, thanks for coming tonight. We'll move on then to item D3, which is interview and possible approval of resolution number 26-1802 for the appointment of Robert Rone to fill a vacancy on the Pinetop-Lakeside Planning and Zoning Commission with a term expiring July 22nd of 2027. I will ask Interim Community Development Director Frank Young to present on this, please.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. We would like to interview Mr. Robert Rone for a vacancy on the Planning and Zoning Commission, and I have him here for you to interview.
Good evening, Mayor, Town Council. I submitted an interest letter for planning and zoning. The main purpose was to validate all the current town codes we have, what needs to be updated, what needs to be changed, and if new town codes need to be created, especially with Bill 2447 coming into play, and also with a dispensary wanting to build in this town.
So Robert, we have questions that we'd like to ask you, and you,
Okay.
I think, kind of started answering the very first one. What motivated you to pursue this position, and what do you hope to achieve during your tenure?
You know, just make all the town codes friendly to the community here up in Pinetop-Lakeside, make the community a better place.
Okay. Robert, what are the most pressing zoning issues facing our community, and how would you address them?
The most pressing right now would be the Bill 2447, and the second one would be the dispensary and where it's going to be built here in Lakeside Pinetop. I think we could use the tax revenue from the dispensary. It's just a matter of where it's going to be located.
Thank you.
Okay.
Evening, Robert. Thank you for stepping up.
No problem.
How would you balance the need for development with the need to preserve green space and historical landmarks?
You know, I would think that would be up to the whole Planning and Zoning Commission and what they presented to the council, and everybody has to be in agreement.
Okay, thank you.
How would you ensure transparency and fairness in your decision-making process regarding planning and zoning?
I wouldn't be the only one making any decision. It would be a committee of planning and zoning. So hopefully all planning and zoning people would agree on it, and we would go from there.
How would you handle feedback from community members with opposing viewpoints on a given issue?
I would think that would be up to the town council to explain to the citizens of Lakeside Pinetop. We can let them know why we made a decision, but ultimately I think it's up to the council to get a buy-in from the citizens.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any other follow-up comments
I
today?
do not.
Okay. Any other comments or questions from the council?
I can make the motion.
Okay. Councilor Smith.
I move to approve resolution number 26-1802, appointing Robert Rone to serve as the Pinetop-Lakeside Planning and Zoning Commission with a term ending July 22nd, 2027.
I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you. Welcome to the commission.
Thank you, Mayor and
I'm
Council.
sure Frank will get you on all lined up. We appreciate it. Okay, we're going to move on then to item D4, which is a public hearing, discussion and possible legal action on ordinance number 20-490, amending Town Code Title 17, Chapter 17.102, and Section 17.102.050, medical marijuana dispensaries. Again, Frank.
So we did have a developer that was interested in developing a dispensary. I got an email from them today. They've decided to back out of the deal with the seller because of some issues they couldn't resolve. So what I would like to do is take this back to the Planning and Zoning Commission and go through it and kind of revise, kind of see what changes we can make to where it would be feasible for the town and the residents would feel comfortable with this type of business in town.
So the changes that you were suggesting were the square footage. That was strictly everything we were looking at tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any questions or comments for Frank? Before we continue on with this, we do have a citizen who wishes to speak to this. David Hendricks. Come on up.
Good evening, Mayor Irwin. I have to read too. I'm not good at off the lib here. So, good evening, Mayor Irwin and members of the Town Council. My name is Dave Hendricks, and my family and I own the White Mountain Family Fun Park. I am here to speak on the proposed amendments to both the medical and adult use marijuana codes. Tonight, you guys are considering doubling the allowable size of these facilities to 4,000 square feet. If the town is going to authorize this kind of high-volume retail expansion, it must also modernize our safety standards. Currently, our code has a significant safety gap. Under the current proposal, a child playing on a public town land like a municipal park is protected by a 500-foot buffer. But the moment that same child steps into a privately owned property that caters to families, like my family fun park, or an arcade, or a miniature golf course, that protection vanishes. I have to ask the council, does a child become less vulnerable just because the park they're playing on is privately owned? We don't need to guess how to fix this. Our neighbors have already provided the blueprint for high quality safety. Payson's Town Code, Section 154-15-005 specifically protects youth-oriented facilities, including arcades, miniature golf, batting cages, with a 500-foot buffer. Taylor Town Code, Section 18.85.050 mandates a 1,000-foot buffer for any facility devoted to family recreation or entertainment. Why should Pinetop-Lakeside have a lower standard for child safety than Taylor or Payson? Because our current proposal is incomplete and leaves private family-oriented businesses exposed, I am formally requesting that the council table this discussion tonight. Please do not pass a hollow code that ignores our private youth facilities. I ask that you send this back to the planning and zoning so they can officially incorporate the Payson and Taylor youth definitions into both our medical and recreational buffers. Let's ensure our children are protected whether they are on public or private property before we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public that wish to address us during this public hearing? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call the public hearing closed then. So questions, comments from the council? Vice Mayor?
I agree with Mr. Hendricks. I think it needs to be relooked at as far as distances from places involving youth or family activities. However, what we're looking at tonight has nothing to do with that. It's simply allowing a bigger footprint, so to speak, a bigger square footage. And with the fact that the current one looking at that one spot has backed out, I think we should go ahead and approve this for the square footage, but then send the rest of it back to planning and zoning to look at the distances from, again, parks or facilities that are mainly for youth or families.
And I would agree with that, because I think that we need to make sure that the business community knows we support business, and we need to make sure that we're giving everybody that answer that yes, we're open for business. So I agree with Vice Mayor that we should go ahead and approve this, yet pursue some of those other things. Yeah. Any other? Councilor Heisler.
I just wanted to say that I actually I disagree with this in this particular circumstance, and the reason why is we just passed 2447 at the state level, and so I don't think any of us fully understand the impacts that that's going to have. But if we pass this resolution tonight for a 4,000 square foot facility, then they go purchase a piece of property. At that point, it's out of our hands. The facility can be developed wherever it's going to be developed at that size. And so I think that it would behoove us to pump the brakes on this particular issue right now and allow the entire issue to go back before the Planning and Zoning Commission to be evaluated as a whole.
I would concur with Councilor Heisler on that too. I think let's don't box ourselves in with something that, with unintended consequences, could hurt us.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Phillips, any comments?
No comment.
Okay. I would entertain a motion then.
I'll give you a motion.
Thank you.
I would move to adopt ordinance number 26490, amending Town Code Title 17, Chapter 17.102, Section 17.102.050 to increase the maximum allowable building area for a marijuana dispensary to 4,000 square feet based on the findings of consistency with Arizona revised statutes 362857C1 and to ensure reasonable and lawful regulation of dual licensed marijuana dispensaries as presented.
Thank you. I will second that. Is there further discussion? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, same sign. Thank you. The motion fails.
Fails.
So please take it back to P&Z. I think that's the direction.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you very much, Frank.
Thank you.
Item D5, which is information, discussion, and possible action to approve resolution number 26-1803, rescinding resolution number 25-1769, and restore maintenance authority for roads historically maintained by the town and direction to develop a revised road maintenance plan focused on safety. Christy.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. And I just wanted to say thank you to our citizens that showed up tonight. It's really nice to have a big crowd here being involved in what is happening at the town. So thank you for coming. On February 20th of 25, Town Council adopted Resolution 25-1769, rescinding prior roads categorized as Category 2 and 3, courtesy maintenance only roads. It's come to my attention by many homeowners that live on some of these roads that the roads were unsafe to travel. So I went out and drove several of the roads myself, and I did find that a lot of them were in pretty bad shape. Particularly Rim Road, it kind of parallels where the reservation comes up off of the rim, and if there were ever a wildfire coming off of that, we need to have a road that is safe and passable for a fire truck to fight a fire. It's one of our first lines of defense. The town has historically maintained these roads for things such as grading up to 3 times a week, not on all of them, but up to 3 times not a week, a year. You're welcome, everybody. Pothole patching on paved roads, snow removal, installation of maintenance signs, speed limit signs, guardrails, and doing tree trimming. And when you take on a project like that and you start maintaining roads, it's really hard to pull back and take those away. So when this was brought to council in February of 25, it was to be in conjunction with Town Code Title 12, Chapter 12.26, which establishes eligibility of the roads. So I'm going to read Section 12.26.20 to everybody. Determination of eligibility provides that a road is considered to be of service to the traveling public if it serves 2 or more residents and or businesses per mile under separate ownership. And the roads that we took off for that courtesy maintenance all met that stipulation put in our town code. Additionally, it was noted that the roads did not meet the pavement condition index, and I'm sure that was meant towards the paved roads that were on there, but PCI is not something you can use to measure a dirt road. So that is too broad of a statement. So we will be bringing the town code back to clearly outline dirt roads versus paved roads and what. But our goal is not to take those roads away, is to put them back into a maintenance plan. But when we bring new roads on in the town, we will have a stricter guideline on bringing new ones in. The reason for this is safety and passability. I've talked with our attorney about this at length, and we feel this is the best way forward. And just to put it into perspective for you, this is 6.53 miles of unpaved road we're putting back in, and 1.32 miles of paved roads. So total 7.85 miles we're adding back into our maintenance. So my request tonight would be for you guys to rescind approve the resolution on the table tonight, rescinding the old resolution, and directing staff to revise the road maintenance schedule.
Thank you, Christy. Any questions for Christy? I don't see anything. I appreciate you bringing this to our attention and being concerned for the safety of our citizens. Thank you, Christy.
And I heard today that Pub Works went out and graded Rim Road today, and we have some really happy citizens today. And Melina, please pass on to your crew that they did a great job.
Yes, and like you said, there's nearly 8 miles, so
8 miles.
Lots of work to do. Anyway, okay, I would entertain a motion. Councilor Heisler?
I move to approve resolution number 26-1803, rescinding resolution number 25-1769, and direct staff to restore maintenance authority for previously maintained roads and develop a revised road maintenance plan for Category 2 and Category 3 roads focused on safety and passability.
I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Christy. Item D6 is information, discussion, and consider legal action of Resolution 26-1804, approving the purchase of new roll-off containers. Elena.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. This one is an exciting one. We have been needing some new cans for the collection center for quite some time. We were very fortunate to get a grant from the recycling partnership that we brought to you for approval several months ago. Part of that grant was to reimburse the town for the roll-off truck that we purchased in February of 2025. That has been reimbursed, less 10%. Once the grant closes, we'll get the rest of that 10% back. But tonight we have before you is the purchase of 4 40-yard roll-off containers. 2 will be equipped with lids, and 2 20-yard roll-off containers, 1 equipped with lid. These are essential and crucial for our operations of our collection center, but also it's part of the grant. We have roughly a little over $58,000 for in the grant funds for the purchase of these containers. So this will be 100% reimbursed. We'll get 90% back initially, and then 10% once the grant's completed.
Okay, this is good news.
Yes,
Thank you, Melina.
and Councilmember Heisler, you'll be pleased to know that this is on a cooperative purchasing agreement. However, we did go out and get additional quotes, and this still is the cheapest price.
Makes me all warm and fuzzy inside. Thank you.
Thank you, Melina. Are there any questions or comments from Melina?
Make a motion.
Councilor Heisler.
I move to adopt resolution 26-1804, approving the purchase of a new roll-off containers from Box Gang Manufacturing, utilizing Sourcewell contract number 010825BXG in an amount not to exceed $56,527.15, and authorize the town manager to execute all documents necessary to complete this transaction.
I'll second that. We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? All those in favor, signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Melina. We'll look forward to getting those containers. There is no further business before the council tonight, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming.